You grow up in Kerpen, a town in western Germany that nobody outside of Germany has ever heard of. Your father runs a small kart track, not a glamorous one, a strip of asphalt behind a petrol station, cones marking the corners, a shed where the engines are stored on wooden shelves your grandfather built. You are 4 years old the first time you sit in a cart. Your feet don't reach the pedals. Your father props them up with wooden blocks he cut that morning. By 6, you don't need the blocks. By 8, you are beating teenagers. Not because you are fearless. Fear is something you learn to metabolize, not eliminate, but because you can feel things other drivers can't. You feel the cart's rear end loading through a corner before it actually moves. You feel traction the way a surgeon feels tissue. Your father doesn't call it talent. He calls it listening. You spend your childhood learning to listen. The track earns almost nothing. Some weekends your family eats pasta 3 nights in a row. Your mother works mornings at a laundry 2 towns over. Your racing suit is second hand, a pale blue one with someone else's name stitched off the chest, the thread hole still visible. You don't think about that. You think about the racing line through turn 3, where the surface cambres away from you at exactly the wrong moment and every other kid lifts. You don't lift. You learned at age 9 that if you move your entry point 40 centimeters to the left, the camber works for you instead of against you. Nobody told you this. You found it by going off the track twice, coming back and going again. That is the whole education really. Go off, come back, go again. There is a man named Joseph. He is your father's friend, an old Formula 3 mechanic who smells of cigarettes and hydraulic fluid and who watches you drive one Saturday afternoon without saying a word. Afterward he drinks coffee with your father in the shed. You hear him through the thin wall. He says your name once. Then he says, quietly, that your father should understand what he has, that this is not a hobby. Your father already knows. He just needed someone else to say it. Joseph becomes the person who explains what you already know in language you can use. He teaches you that braking is not about stopping, it's about energy transfer. That every time you touch the brake pedal, you are redistributing weight, changing the geometry of the car, making the front tires work harder or easier depending on how fast you load them. He shows you that the fastest drivers are not the ones who brake latest. They are the ones who release the brake most precisely, trail it down to nothing at exactly the right rate, so the car transitions into the corner without a hiccup, without a disturbance, like water finding its level. You practice brake release for 6 weeks. Just that. Nothing else. Joseph dies when you are 17. A stroke on a Tuesday in his kitchen. You find out by phone. You sit on the steps outside your family's house for a long time. The street is empty. A dog barks somewhere. You go inside and eat dinner and don't say much, and the next morning you go back to the track. You make it to Formula 3 at 19 on a budget that embarrasses everyone around you. Your car is older. Your tyres are a compound behind the front runners. You finish third in the championship because you extract something from that inferior machinery that the telemetry people cannot fully explain. Your lap in wet conditions at Hockenheim, a circuit you have never driven before that weekend, is 1.4 seconds faster than your nearest competitor in identical rain. The data team for a Formula 1 constructor watches it 17 times. What they are trying to understand is why you are so still. Every other driver is making corrections. Micro adjustments, constant sawing at the wheel, the car always slightly unsettled. You are not correcting. You are anticipating. There is a difference of about 40 milliseconds, which does not sound like much until you multiply it across 180 corners in a race, at which point it becomes everything. Formula 1 comes at 22. The team that signs you is not the best team. They are midfield. They have money problems and political problems and a technical director who is brilliant and paranoid in roughly equal measure. You don't care. You qualify 8th on your debut in Bahrain, in a car that started the season ranked 12th on the grid by every credible analyst. The technical director stops being paranoid about you after that. He starts being paranoid about everyone else. The first 3 seasons, you are good. Consistently good. Points finishes, occasional podiums, the kind of driver who makes other engineers nervous when they see your name appear in their mirrors. You are not yet a champion because the car is not yet a champion's car. You understand this. You work. You study onboard footage from the top teams for hours after races, reverse engineering their braking zones, their corner entries, their fuel management strategies. You are building a library in your head of everything the sport knows, and then you are adding things the sport doesn't know yet. Then the car gets better. Then you get the contract with a front-running team. Then you win Monaco. Not cleanly. Monaco is never clean. On lap 47, you come up behind a back marker in the tunnel, and he moves unpredictably, and you go within 11 centimeters of the barrier at 280 kilometers per hour. The car is fine. You don't tell anyone how close it was. You win by 4.2 seconds. This is where the moral accounting starts, though you don't know it yet. The team principal is a man who understands winning the way a banker understands compound interest, mechanically, without romance. He comes to you before the Austrian Grand Prix and explains that your teammate, who is fighting for second in the championship, needs to be held behind you for strategic reasons. Held, not beaten. There is a difference. He uses the word team orders once and then doesn't say it again. You finish first. Your teammate finishes fourth. Afterward, he shakes your hand in the paddock and his eyes say something his mouth doesn't. You tell yourself it was racing. That team orders are part of Formula One. Always have been. Both of these things are true. The next season it happens again, but differently. A faster instruction, earlier in the race, under conditions where you could have fought it, where you had the pace to fight it. You don't fight it. You move aside on lap 31 at Silverstone, your home crowd watching, and you let the narrative run its course because you have started to understand that your relationship with the team is a transaction, and transactions require maintenance. You finish second. On the podium you smile, and it is not a fake smile exactly. It is the smile of someone who has learned to want what is convenient to want. 3 years later, you are world champion. You are standing on a podium in Abu Dhabi with the trophy and the confetti falling in the early desert dark, and somewhere at the edge of the television frame your father is watching from a hospitality suite that costs more per day than his kart track earns in a season. The confetti settles on your shoulders. You think about Joseph. You think about the wooden blocks your father cut. You think about a 40-centimetre adjustment to a corner entry that nobody taught you, that you found by going off and coming back. You think, is this it? Not as a question, as an observation. The following season your teammate is a 21-year-old from Sao Paulo who is genuinely faster than you through Sector 2 at almost every circuit. You know this because you watch the telemetry every Thursday, and his traces through the fast corners are 0.15 seconds cleaner than yours, which means he is doing something you are not doing yet. You spend 3 weeks trying to find it. You find part of it, a different steering angle, earlier, more committed, trusting the front end before the data says you should. But not all of it. He is doing something your body doesn't know how to do yet, and you are 34. And the window for teaching your body new things is narrowing in a way you can feel but not measure. The team principal asks you to mentor him. You say yes. You tell yourself this is because it is the right thing to do. This is also true. You show him your braking data. You explain Joseph's lesson about brake release. You stay late in the debrief rooms and go through corner-by-corner analysis with the patience of someone who was once taught by a man who smelled of cigarettes and hydraulic fluid, and who saw something in a kid before the kid saw it himself. He wins the championship the year after you retire. He cites you in the press conference. He says your name with something in his voice you recognize. You are watching television in a hotel room in Munich. You finish your coffee. You close the laptop. You go to bed. There are thousands of drivers who go fast. There are a handful who understand why they are going fast and can translate that understanding across time, across machinery, across other human beings. The sport produces champions. It produces, very rarely, someone who carries the whole craft forward, who leaves the thing better than they found it. That is a different category of person entirely. Find out which one you are. If this hit different, like actually made you feel something, subscribe. More of these coming. And tell me, which moment broke you? The podium in Abu Dhabi or the night you moved aside at Silverstone?